Hi, in today's video I won't be behind the wheel of a car, but I will be on the saddle of my 1995 Ducati 900 CR.
There's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we
So for as long as I can remember, I've always been very passionate about motorcycles. Before I even liked cars, I liked motorcycles. When I was a kid, I started watching MotoGP when I was around 3 years old, and I was always a big fan of Valentino Rossi. So 3 years ago, I got my 1995 Ducati 900 CR. So if we come around here, now, any Ducati purists that are watching this would say that this is not a Ducati 900 CR, but it actually is. So what I've done is I have fitted Ducati 900 SS full fairings. I still have the short fairing, so on the CR stands for Cafe Race. The fairing comes and stops right here. I can put a picture of it in the video. But I like the full fairings, so I got the full fairings for this bike. Now, to the untrained eye, many people would think that this is a brand new motorcycle, especially in the case of its condition. But one giveaway that it is a motorcycle from the 90s is the square headlight. Some people don't like the square headlight, other people do. I happen to really like the design of this motorcycle, and I think it looks fantastic. I personally do not think that it is a bike that gets very dated. It just kind of has a timeless design, in my opinion. One of my favorite parts about this bike is the paint itself. If you come over, you can really see how reflective it is. You can see me right there. It's so incredibly shiny, and I really don't do much to maintain the paint on this bike. It just stays really good. So if you come, you can kind of see it in the light there. It just shines really well. And these are not stickers, they're placed, and there's actually a layer of clear coat that is over where it says Super Sport and Desmo Due and 900 in this line. It fits it really well. This is a sticker that I put on to the bike. I also put an Isle of Man sticker on the bike, but I'm not that good. So if I come down here, you can see the dry clutch, and then this is an aftermarket piece of carbon fiber. On the stock bike, this whole piece would be covered up, but a lot of Ducati purists will like to open up the clutch cover so you can hear that signature rattle. On a traditional motorcycle, you would have your clutch and clutch plates dipped in an oil bath, and that's called a wet clutch. But on a lot of the older Ducatis, they have a dry clutch. And a dry clutch actually provides you with a little bit more horsepower to the rear wheel. You'll see on the MotoGP bikes that they're all running dry clutches. But with a dry clutch, you do have to maintain it more, and you're gonna have to change the clutch and clutch plates more often than you would on a wet clutch. So one thing that's very famous to Ducati itself is the Desmodronic valve system, which is not on any other motorcycle. So Desmo Due means that there's 2 valves per cylinder. The motorcycle has 2 cylinders. The displacement is 900 cc's, and it's an L twin. That's 90 degrees. If I come down here, you can see this aftermarket sprocket that I fitted, and that has 42 teeth. Now, on the original motorcycle, it was 37 teeth on the sprocket. Now, I bumped it up to 42 because this bike is really jerky in traffic, and if you have 37 teeth, it's extremely jerky. So I've added more teeth to it, therefore taking down the jerkiness of the motorcycle in first gear and in second gear when I'm in traffic. being that I've added a bigger sprocket, it adds a little bit more torque down low for the initial punch, but takes away from top speed. Now, I don't do the top speed of the motorcycle. Where I live, you certainly cannot do it, and it's also illegal, but I like a comfortable ride. I'd much rather have a more comfortable motorcycle while I'm riding. Now, I am running Michelin Pilot 4 all-season tires on this bike. These tires have faded very, very well over time. They've held up well, extremely grippy. They work well in the rain. What I really like, if you look at the front tire, there are these grooves that come across the whole length of the tire, and what that's designed to do, as the tire is spinning, it'll scoop up water and then disperse it out, so you always have enough grip while you're riding. Now, the motorcycle does handle very well, but above a certain speed, it's not a bike that wants to go slow. So I've often heard point and shoot. So when you go into the curve, you gotta find a line and stick to that line. And once you find that line and you start to get into the groove of riding, it's a very, very smooth ride, but it does like to go fast, and it does let you know, hey, I wanna go faster. So it is an interesting bike to ride. One thing that takes a little bit getting used to when you're riding is actually the riding position itself. So this is an aftermarket Corbin seat that is a little bit more comfortable than the stock seat, in my opinion. But so here is the tank is pretty much at a 90-degree angle, and your man bits sit here. So whenever you go over a bump or whatever, you got to make sure that you lift up from the seat, because you don't want to hit your plums there. And the length between the seat and the handlebar is a little bit far, so you are leaned over when you're riding. It is a sport bike, so that is to be expected, but if you're looking for one of these, it's something to look out for, because you might not be comfortable while you're riding it. I have these right here, earplugs. I have to wear earplugs with this bike because it is so incredibly loud, and it bothers me that I can't capture the sound of the bike with a camera or a GoPro or whatever. You really have to hear it in person. Now, some people will love the sound of Ducatis, I do, and other people don't. And I think the people who don't really, they don't understand the meaning of the dry clutch. They think that something's wrong with the bike. I've had people approach me at gas stations, at the supermarket, whatever, saying, hey, I think there's something wrong with your bike, that it's rattling. And I say, no, it's just a dry clutch. The motorcycle is supposed to sound like that. Also, with the exhaust pipes, the previous owner wanted to design it to kind of look more like a Ducati 888 with the angle that the exhaust is at. Now, on the stock bike, the exhaust pipe angle would actually be a little bit lower, and then the bracket would come down here, attach here with the passenger foot peg. But they eliminated the passenger foot peg, made this custom bracket, and with the piece down here, and it just gives it a little bit more of an aggressive look with the exhaust pipe at a higher angle. Now, one thing that I think is very, very important while you're riding is motorcycle safety. Oftentimes, especially where I live in Rhode Island, I see a lot of guys riding without helmets. They're riding in t-shirts, they're riding in shorts, they're riding in flip-flops, and in my opinion, that is a horrible idea. When I was 15, I had a really bad dirt bike accident where I had my helmet on, I had my chest protector on, but I didn't have any arm protection, and my arms got ripped up really badly. So every single time I ride, doesn't matter if it's a ride that's gonna be 100 miles or if it's a ride that's just gonna be down the road, I always wear my gear. I hope you enjoyed the video. More videos coming soon. Please like and subscribe. See ya. Bye.